tunnel to towers paid the mortgage on the family's home. Every day we see the toll that 9/11 continues to take on heroes and their families. Your donation today can make a world of difference to a family like the Foleys. It can provide a sense of security and stability in the face of uncertainty while also bringing hope. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org. That's T2T.org.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reframing the very nature of financial planning around the most fundamental data point possible, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. Because Abacus is the originator, the market maker. We're not just participating in the space, we're reshaping it. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of what matters most. Your time, your future, your financial destiny. While legacy firms cling to static models and outdated assumptions, we move forward with precision, agility, and a vision rooted in reality. Your reality. This isn't finance as usual. This is control in the hands of those who dare to lead. This is a new era of investing built on the truth of your life. Start now at abacusgm.com.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Cats and Cosby on 77 WABC.
The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas.
Well, there you go, John. We love that Texas music. It's the best, and we love our next guest, Congressman Brandon Gill from the great state of Texas. And boy, oh boy, Congressman, first your reaction to the big vote that just took place, releasing the Epstein files, 427 to 1.
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on. I think everybody wants disclosure here and wants to know what actually happened with the Epstein debacle, who was involved. But I will say I agree with the comments earlier. There are lots of issues with this discharge petition regarding keeping victims private who want to be private, keeping child sexual abuse materials private, which of course should never be made public, and obviously also protecting innocent people who have gotten swept into this who did nothing wrong. I voted for the release of the Epstein files. I hope that whenever the Senate takes it up, that they address these issues.
When do you think it might get to the Senate? When could it come out? What do you think?
Robert just texted me, breaking news.
Yeah, what's that?
That the Senate approves unanimously the release of the Epstein files.
And then it just passed. Here we go. Let's do our breaking news. Hang on, it literally just happened. Margot's on it. I'm telling you.
Breaking news, WABC.
Well, according to Margot and also all the big news organizations, the Senate has just agreed to pass the Epstein bill. So the question is, Judge, actually, maybe a preliminary vote.
10 minutes later, I think the president should decide it.
Yeah, but now the question is,
which raised the question Professor Dershowitz was concerned about, because there's no limitation.
it's going to full speed ahead. Exactly. So now it could go to the president very soon. What I'm curious about is if they did the test vote or if it's the actual passage vote. It looks like it's the passage vote.
But it's not clear. The
header is not clear. So it could be like sometimes they do a test vote to say, will we do it? And then it's a similar result. But it looks like it's going to happen very soon if it hasn't already. Wow. Go ahead, Craig.
Congressman, I have a question. 427 to 1. When was the last time you had a vote like this in Congress, if ever?
Well, not since I've been in Congress that I'm aware of, and certainly not on any legislation that is this widely known and understood. It's pretty rare, unfortunately, to get much bipartisan support for anything in Washington. So this is I think this is a very unique case here.
Yeah, by the way, I want to ask you also, Congressman Brandon Gill of Texas, you probably saw today, Governor Abbott just a little bit ago designated the Muslim Brotherhood and the Council on American Islamic Relations, CARE, as foreign terrorist and transnational criminal organizations. What's your reaction to that? Basically what it does, it bars them from buying or acquiring land in Texas. It authorizes the Attorney General there to sue to shut them down. This is good for Governor Abbott.
for Governor Abbott. I think this is an incredible move. Listen, foreign Islamic terrorists have no place anywhere in the United States, and certainly no place in Texas. They really, of course, should not be buying up land or property in the great state of Texas or anywhere in the country. So I obviously very much applaud this. You know, we've got a big problem in the United States, and we see this a lot in Texas and across Western civilization of the mass migration of Islam into our homes. And this is something we've got to take seriously. You know, you've seen cities in countries like London, you've seen Paris be fundamentally transformed by the mass importation of radical Islam. And these are people who do not have the same conception of freedom of speech that we have, or of freedom of religion, or the separation of mosque and state. This is an ideology writ large, is an ideology that is incompatible with Western civilization. We've got to take it seriously because it is going to change our country if we don't. So I think this is a great move, and I think this is hopefully just the first step towards combating radical Islam in the United States.
How concerned are you also? We talked last time we talked, it was before the New York City election. Obviously, Mondani is coming in. We talk about, is he going to put his hand, John, on the Bible or on the Quran?
You know, we'll see. I suppose he'll put his hand on the Quran. You know, the elections were so disappointing in New York. You know, we knew we were going to get most likely either a radical communist Islamist in Mamdani, or we were going to get a far leftist. And, you know, there really was not, between the two at least, was not really a great choice. You know, I was certainly disappointed in the election results, but the reality is, and you guys see this, that...
Hello, Jibu. How's everything today?
Country. You know, you have about 38% of the city that is foreign-born, and there's very little assimilation going on in New York. And whenever you see a mass importation, particularly of the third world, you get third-world politicians and third-world policies.
This happened in the last 5 years, where under the Biden administration, there wasn't immigration, there was invasion. And the statistics are coming out from the election right now that a lot of the people, I think.
Yeah, you missed the trolls by 5 minutes. I had to delete a whole bunch of trolls messages because they were rude and obnoxious. And this is a troll-free zone. I do not allow trolls on my channel. This is a troll-free zone.
Not at all. So I want everybody to scratch their heads up. So Congressman, that's
exactly right.
Let me ask you a question. You just had a case come down on the redistricting of Texas, which, in my legal opinion, Texas had every right to do the redistricting.
You saw the supervisor.
Screwed on the census, and the state constitution allows for this.
Did you give her a cupcake?
What are your thoughts about that?
You know, listen, we'll see where this goes. You know, I imagine that this is going to be appealed, and we'll see if that gets appealed to the Supreme Court or what happens next. But, you know, that's something that happens at the Texas state level. That's not something that United States representatives have any involvement with. So we'll see where that goes. You know, we're gonna fight. And we're gonna keep the majority regardless of what the maps look like. But I think that I would imagine that this gets appealed, and hopefully we get an answer and a resolution.
Even better.
Yeah, absolutely.
It goes back to what we talked about before, Congressman. Massachusetts has 39.
Yeah, I had to delete the worst offending messages here on
How can that be fair?
here on the panel about 5 minutes ago.
You know, a Democrat in Texas, after these new maps were put into place, is better.
They were so offensive, I had to immediately delete them.
In Washington and California before their redistricting. In other words, California and these leftist states have already done some of the most aggressive, egregious gerrymandering prior to Texas making any move at all. So you know what? You know, this is something Democrats have been doing for a long, long time. See it in California, in Illinois, all over the Northeast. And I think that that's something that needs to be addressed as well.
A good compromise. What is a compromise? That doesn't sound too good. What do you mean you got a good compromise?
Congressman, I was a Republican chairman in Brooklyn.
Compromise, it's like you settled. You settled for something. What did you settle for?
Largest Muslim community in Bay Ridge. And we have seen such a large increase in Muslim population, like John was saying, during the Biden administration. And most of these
That's not a good comment of him to make.
being Americans. And you know, it's kind of scary.
Or maybe you translating it wrong.
You know, we said never forget after 9/11, and it appears that we've forgotten, unfortunately. You know, there used to be a standard in American immigration law that you were expected, if you immigrated into the country, to fully assimilate and adopt our customs and our culture.
Congressman, they want
And they're not.
They want to change our way of life. And we
Oh, okay. So you just translated it wrong.
American people have
All right, I got you.
to make a decision. But Congressman, thank you for coming on, and this needs more discussion between all of us.
Yeah, thank you. It's great to have you here. Thank you.
And you Texans are tough guys. Make sure you teach the rest of us to be tough.
Did anybody get in trouble?
We will. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
And we
Did the troublemakers get into trouble?
Goya foods, and I love those Goya beans with a little bit of olive oil, Goya olive oil from Spain, and a little bit of this.
Muy bueno. Sounds great.
It's the top news of the day, sponsored by Goya. Here's Rita Cosby.
And Goya is the best, everybody. Well, we've been talking about the Epstein files. The House has passed, and now the Senate has agreed to pass the Epstein bill that is releasing all of the Epstein files tied to Jeffrey Epstein and the accusers. Only Republican Clay Higgins of Louisiana voted no in the House, John, claiming that the bill would harm innocent people swept up in the investigation and it needs more protection.
Oh, by the way, did you hear about the aircraft carrier?
In New York City,
The world's largest aircraft carrier that America has produced
touring today
is off the shore, is right next to Venezuela. Did you hear about that?
and Israel. Boy, oh boy, that will be powerful to hear about his trip. Hopefully, when he
And the aircraft carrier comes with a whole bunch of
Katie McFarland,
extra boats.
Lee Fleischer on an action back.
Extra boats.
Making your holidays go from this to this. We wish it's easy and delicious with Coquito. Create this tropical creamy holiday drink with Goya coconut milk, Goya cream of coconut, and a sprinkle of cinnamon, and a touch of rum.
Yeah, Trump is getting ready to set the hammer down.
Coquito made with Goya, a tropical way to
He's gonna set the hammer down in Venezuela, and he's gonna get rid of that Maduro. He's gonna make Maduro run to Russia. Maduro's gonna run to Russia. He's gonna seek asylum in Russia. You know how he's making all his people seek asylum in America? Well, Trump is gonna make Maduro seek asylum in Russia. That's gonna be the end of it. That's gonna be the end of communist rule in Venezuela.
Excellence in service. That's why Good Greek is a National Mover of the Year and trusted for decades. So whether you're retiring to Florida or looking for the Texas lifestyle, Good Greek van lines can take you anywhere in the country on time and on budget. Good Greek is your official mover when it comes to best-in-class relocations. For your best move, coast to coast, go to goodgreek.com.
Oh, by the way, I went shopping today. I got 10 pounds of apples. I got 5 pounds of red apples and 5 pounds of green apples. I also got some baked chicken. I got a baked chicken. I got my world famous cashews. I got lasagna.
Seriously injured? Call my team first at 1-800-FIGHT-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3220.
I got the world famous potatoes, potato salad.
recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Cats and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here, John, on Cats and Cosby. And boy, there is so much going on in the world. What happened in Poland, Trump with the Saudi crown prince today, Venezuela, is Trump going to go in? Oh my goodness, where do we begin? Well, let's go to KT McFarland, former Deputy National Security Advisor. And KT, first off, what did you think of President Trump's meeting with MBS, the crown prince?
This is the coloring show. We relax, chill, and watch me color.
And the meeting with MBS today was crucial for it because Saudi Arabia has been the linchpin of all the Trump foreign policy in the region. The Saudis helped initially with the Abraham Accords, even though they weren't signatories. They helped with the Gaza peace plan. They helped getting Syria to flip between Iran back to the United States, so it's now working with the United States in the region. And in addition to that, the Saudis are going to invest $1 trillion in the United States. Yeah, it's a big deal. By the way, it was amazing, the Saudi crown prince answering American questions. That was a big deal. Poland, my beloved Poland, Kate.
Yeah, Jibu, only delete the trolling comments. The regular comments you could just leave them.
Everybody's worried about, right?
The regular comments you leave them. Only delete the trolling and rude comments.
Early reports, who knows what the story is behind it, but it does look like Russian intelligence was involved. Yeah, and what does this lead? You know, we talked about World War II. I mean, Article 5. Yeah, is this an Article 5? What do you think, KT? If it turns out that indeed the Russians did it, the Polish Prime Minister is coming out there and saying that's what he believes is the case. You have to have a pretty airtight case. I mean, Article 5 initially just says you have to consult if something is an attack against one of the NATO members. And by the way, KT, the Polish Prime Minister is saying that he believes the Russians were the ones. He hasn't, not the Article 5 part. I just want to make sure people understand. Yeah, right. No, but I mean, it has to be, I think there has to be pretty irrefutable evidence that it was the Russians. So I'm sure that the Russians...
I have to go buy another box of these jumbo crayons, but I have to get the 616 color ones.
Behind an attack against Poland, then it does call into question.
I think I'm gonna go later on. Tonight because I believe.
They're all going to attack. It's like the 3 months.
I believe the store is open until 11.
Where's the huge deal?
And Casey, where's that leaf turkey?
What is Turkey and Syria?
It's either 10 or 11 p.m.
In NATO to start with.
And right now it's only 5:47, so I'm gonna leave.
European Union.
I'm gonna leave around 8 o'clock.
They've really helped.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave around 8 o'clock, so I should make it there.
Now, but it really puts Turkey in a very, well, they're right in the middle of the crossroads. And does Turkey then stand with NATO? Does NATO make a decision? Does NATO make a decision quickly? And what is that decision? You know, all these things are there. I think that within anything like this, you don't want to believe the initial reports. Always wait to see what's the follow-on. What is the intelligence? What's really happening? There may be a lot of other things, but so far, it does look like the Russians were involved in the bombing of Poland. If they are, it's about the dumbest thing they've ever done. Yeah, especially given the history, as we all know, and as my father knows all too well, between Poland and Russia. Boy, oh boy. What about Venezuela, KT? Before we...
Yeah, the Russians bombed Poland. They made a big mistake by bombing Poland.
Right. She seems to think...
Did you hear about that?
Land incursion may be coming soon with the U.S. That's a big deal.
I'm going to go to Target.
They have no money.
You heard?
They have no oil sales, and the price of oil is down. Yeah, what about Venezuela? Well, Venezuela, we'll see. I don't think President Trump is ever going to use boots on the ground. Since the Vietnam War, he's been against America being involved in boots on the ground, regime change, and forever wars. So what is he about? I think he's trying to show Maduro, I think he's doing a very good job of it, to say, look, we may not want to invade you, but we could take you out anytime we want. And so what's the result of this then? Well, Maduro, in the last 2 or 3 days, has been begging President Trump, let's talk. Let's have a conversation. We don't have to go to war. So again, I think that President Trump, he'll talk to anybody, but his terms for Maduro will be
I heard that. He'll talk to anybody.
Look, he might even meet with Mondani soon, so he'll talk to anybody.
I'm just visualizing the Oval Office, Mondani and Trump. Mondani blowing up like Zelensky.
I think it'll be quicker, maybe quicker, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna get.
For 45 minutes and then they blow up.
I'm gonna get a couple of things. I'm gonna get the crayons there. I gotta get like some towels. I gotta get like three towels. I gotta get some bed sheets. Some bed sheets. I gotta get some comforters for my other place. I gotta get some comforters.
Controversial articles saying we've got antitrust policy all along. The tech companies and the big corporations are taking over the American economy. We're going to have to bust them up, prevent them from merging with other companies. And that got her a job under President Biden as chair of the Federal Trade Commission, which enforces U.S. antitrust policy.
How did that work out, John?
Well, let's just say if she were a batter in baseball, it would be in the basement. The fact the Wall Street Journal ran a headline once, is there any single case Lina Khan can win in court? Because she had all of these fantastically novel theories about why, Meta should be prosecuted and why you didn't have competition on social media. So she did not have a happy 4 years, but she influenced the Democratic Party and pushed it to the left because it's clear that she is a democratic socialist, just like Mondani is.
And then, can you connect the dots for us? Tell us why this is so important today, given the fact that she's chair of the transition for Mondani?
Well, that is a signal to every leftist in the country that Mondani is not moderated, that he wants to take on the establishment, wants to on business, wants to impose an extremely radical economic vision on the world. He wouldn't have hired her otherwise. And she has announced in interviews that she is scouring through all of the law books and statute books in New York City and the state to find ways that Mondani can exercise power over the economy without having to consult the city council, without having to get permission from the legislature or the governor. And she says, he'll have, I'm going to find every bit of authority that he can use to enact his agenda.
Which is anti-business, anti-capitalism, anti-economic development.
Well, she's found an interesting obscure statute in New York City law that says the government can move in against a corporation if its economic behavior is, quote, unconscionable. Well, Judge, as a lawyer, that's an elastic term that a regulator would love because it could mean anything or nothing depending on how you view it. And she has said, we can use this to lower the price of hot dogs at Yankee Stadium. We can force this to take on companies and force them not to have algorithms, which can adjust prices depending on what supply and demand are.
And the remedy could be that even if you're losing money in the business and you want to close it down.
Yeah, bed sheets, comforters, towels. I gotta get some towels.
Well, that's what the new mayor of Seattle wants to do. She literally wants to prevent grocery stores from closing. She's saying you have no right to close.
You forgot to add towels in your
in a place like Seattle, it's probably because
in your
police
text.
haven't been allowed to do their job, and the neighborhood is crime ridden. So the point is that she recognizes that she can't push business around at everything, but she can extract concessions from them. She can bully them. She can terrorize them. I believe that she's going to move off of the co-chair of the transition committee, and she's going to become Mondani's economic czar, or his enforcer.
Wow, that certainly is a sign of what's to come. Wow. Well, John, thank you so much for joining us. This is eye-opening, and keep us posted.
And you can read about this in my piece at nationalreview.com. You can easily find it there.
Say it to us again. Nationalreview.com. Nationalreview.com. John Fund, F-U-N-D. Thank you.
John, thank you, John.
We always enjoy having you on.
Pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you, John, so much. And you guys, we're going to take a break, and then we have the great Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary, coming right up.
And now, Joe Concha sounds off.
So does everyone remember Rachel Ziegler?
More after this.
What if the future of finance wasn't built around averages, but around you? At Abacus Global Management, we're reshaping financial planning around the most personal data point, your lifespan. But it's more than just insight, it's control. As a technology-driven asset manager, we're empowering investors with an integrated system to take command of your time, your future, your financial destiny. This is a new era of investing. Take control at abacusgm.com.
The Tunnel to Towers Foundation honors America's heroes, heroes like Josh Bischoff. Josh began his firefighting career as a volunteer and ultimately became CAL FIRE's Assistant Chief of Tactical Air Operations until tragedy struck and he was killed in a helicopter collision while fighting a California wildfire. He leaves behind his wife Cheryl and their 2 children, Derek and Juliana. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation paid the Bischoff family's mortgage. Support heroes like Josh and their families. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org.
And now, Joe Concha sounds off.
Remember when an actress named Rachel Ziegler, star of the new woke Snow White, decided to start doing media interviews talking about freeing Palestine and F Donald Trump, and calls actually the prince in Snow White a stage 5 stalker? Not good for sales, and it is now one of the biggest bombs of all time. Well, let's bring in Ariana Grande, the star of Disney's Wicked. She's going down this road as well, talking about Oz as if it is a gay utopia.
Read the Outbreak Home book. It's the truth. You're safe with us. We love you so much. The gayer, the better.
The gayer, the better. Just talk about the movie. Oz is just a place within Yellow Book Road that takes you to forget about it.
Keep listening for more entertaining and informative opinions from Joe Concha.
The Hess stock car races are loaded with life, balance, and a powerful racing motor. Only at HessToyTrucks.com. Free shipping and batteries included.
Through the Tunnel to Towers Foundation, you can honor the courage and sacrifices of our nation's greatest heroes, first responder and military heroes. Heroes like United States Army Lieutenant Colonel Christy Rabin. Christy served our country with unwavering dedication for 20 years. As a combat nurse, she provided life-saving care to wounded soldiers, including at Walter Reed National Military Medical Center during the height of the global war on terrorism. Christy was also a devoted wife, mother, and mentor whose life was rooted in compassion and integrity. After 6 years of courageously battling service-related cancer, Christy's life was tragically cut short. She leaves behind her husband, Stephen, and their 2 children, Jack and Stella. Inspired by their mother's strength and compassion, Jack and Stella both aspire to follow in her footsteps by choosing paths that help others. Tunnel to Towers honored Christy's service and sacrifice by paying off the mortgage on their family's home. Help more families like Christy's. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at t2t.org. That's T2t.org.
The views and opinions expressed by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect the policies or positions of WABC Radio, its management, or its sponsors.
A common sense recap of the day's biggest stories. It's John Catsimatidis and Rita Cosby. Cats and Cosby on 77 WABC.
And we are back here on Cats and Cosby, and joining us now is the great Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary. Ari, boy, oh boy, we've been talking about Mamdani and Trump. Mamdani saying he's going to reach out to Trump because he needs to talk to him about what he's not doing right with affordability. It's like this guy has, I say cojones. He's really quite arrogant there. What do you think?
Well, watching his speech where he kind of said about Trump needs to turn it up. Yeah, he's coming in right after Trump. Trump's going to go right after him. But watch. I predict these two are going to become like the ugly odd couple. I think they're going to love each other and then hate each other, and they're going to alternate because it's so entertaining. It's so hard to predict what these guys are going to do. It will not be a straight line.
Yeah, that's a great point. John was just saying, is it going to be like the first, remember the Zelensky meeting when they were sitting there and then all of a sudden all heck broke loose? How do you see it going? Because clearly, look, Trump, it's the federal dollars. He's the of the United States, but this guy really seems to have a bit of chutzpah, just like you said on his quote victory speech. He was like, turn the volume up. He seems to really be full of himself going in there, not really realizing he's a mayor, even though it's the biggest city, and we all love New York, but I think he's getting sort of the hierarchy, if you will.
I think the better analogy is not Zelensky of Ukraine. I think the better analogy is Kim Jong-un of North Korea, with whom Trump did interestingly reach out to and meet with. So what fascinates me about President Trump is if he sees a deal, if he sees something, ideology doesn't blind him to it. Nothing stops him. If he thinks he can cut a deal with Mondani over something, if Mondani thought he could cut a deal with Trump, it would not surprise me. I think they would alternate that by hating each other. That's what I mean about the ugly odd couple. I think there's going to be moments that these two are going to surprise us, and other moments where it's going to be obvious. They're going to clash bitterly, and Trump will threaten New York City and take money away.
Yeah, how would you handle if you were Trump? How would you handle him? Because this guy, so far, everything we were just talking about, some of the people that he has even in his transition and that he's brought on, they're true believers. That's what's scary, Ari. It wasn't just a campaign stump speech. He's kind of sticking to the good old DSA playbook, which is, scary, I think, in many ways. And so many of the things in their list is anti-Semitic. And he was asked the other day, literally, 2 days ago, what will you do with Netanyahu? And he keeps going back to, international law. He's not backing away, Ari. That's frightening.
Yeah, the DSA, you're right. They are ideological, just extremists who insist on their platform be carried into law, which is something, if they weren't so unreasonable, you would think, well, that's a good goal. Right away after the election, the DSA put out a proposal, a statement saying they count on Mondani, they're going to count on him to enact widespread boycott and divestment of everything related to Israel and the New York City government. But here's what I really have my eye on, and that's ICE. ICE and New York's illegal immigrant population. Will Trump send troops into New York City? Should he? There is a piece of me, Rita, that thinks the best thing to do with Mondani running New York City is make New York City America's illegal home. Let the word spread. If you're illegal in America, go to New York City. Don't send in ICE. And let that be another burden, another part of Mondani's problems and headaches that he won't be able to solve. And New York City will be getting what it deserves.
It sounds like Escape from New York.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at you. Like everyone's doing. But guys, we live here. Yeah,
I know that's the point.
We don't want to lose this place, Ari.
Yeah, I know.
You know what President Trump said, and we're going to follow the same advice?
Fight.
Howard, this is crazy. I'm the exception rather than the rule here, I think. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I got to be honest with you. He should not be declaring war with the president at this point. He's got a little arrogance. I think he had to say a lot of things to get elected. I'm hoping that he's smart enough to realize he's got to work together to save New York. Otherwise, it's going to be the wrath of the United States on him and everybody else, and he's not going to survive.
Respectfully, I want your first. I think this man is an ideologue.
Yeah, Mondani is an ideologue.
I'm just hopeful.
You're hopeful because you have a house in New Jersey. You want somewhere to escape to.
New Jersey.
Yeah, exactly.
Ari, yes. What's going to happen is everything that is a philosophical matter, immigration, Israel, Mondani is going to be exactly as bad as we all fear he's going to be. I think there are other things like the tunnel between New Jersey and Manhattan. He would be willing to cut a deal. What can he get in return for making sure he gets those federal, or what can he give Trump in return for getting those federal dollars to flow to build the tunnel? So don't be surprised if on some nuts and bolts infrastructure things, he tries to cut deals with the federal government. But on everything else, he is an ideologue, and that's the problem. But I'll go back again to immigration.
will Donald Trump send federal enforcement officials into New York City? Will he call out the National Guard in a state and a city that will be hostile to it? It'll be like Chicago, but bigger and worse. Or do you just let New York deal with these problems that they've created? And I know you're New Yorkers. I'm a New Yorker. I don't want to see this in my town. But the best thing that happened was when Southern governors DeSantis in Florida and Abbott in Texas sent truckloads and busloads of illegal immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, to New York, to Chicago, Denver, to northern cities, and made the rest of the country feel what they were feeling. If you do that in New York City, I think it actually could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, and we really now get a national consensus. You can't be illegal in America because look what it's doing to New York. I think that's where the camel is out.
Yeah, exactly. And it's also, boy, you could do a lot of damage.
You can carry the straw.
You could do a lot of damage, though. That's the problem. And Ari, real quick, what did you make of all this Epstein stuff? Because now the House has passed it. I think the Senate, they believe that it's going to go. It could go as early as tonight, maybe, to the White House. What do you think?
Look, I think this issue exists on two levels. If there is somebody who got away with abusing a young girl, everybody needs to know that person, and they should be brought to justice. But those women can bring those cases forward now. They can say such and so, this name, that name, abused me. You don't have to have a file to do that. You have the survivors. Other than that, I think everything else has been a ridiculous, remarkable waste of time. We all know that Epstein was sleazy. There'll be people who'll be embarrassed, like Larry Summers, the former president of Harvard, Clinton official, who palled around, communicated with him. But
26 times went to Epstein Island.
Donald Trump, I don't get it. If Donald Trump didn't do anything immoral with these women, this is a ridiculous waste of time. And there's no evidence that he did anything immoral. We already know about it.
Well, that's the thing. And you look at the timing of this, Ari, and House Speaker Mike Johnson
You're back,
came
huh?
out today and said, look, this information, they had it in the Biden White House. The Biden DOJ had it. They didn't release it. So now suddenly, let's push forward with it, especially after the shutdown blew up in the Democrats' face.
Yep, that's exactly right. That's why it's not serious governance, and it's not going to be over, too, because I understand that this still can be classified information the Justice Department holds on to, or necessary for the prosecution. So these conspiracy theorists are still going to say, they haven't released everything. They're still hiding something. It's all such nonsense.
Yeah, it is. Ari, thank you so much for joining us, Ari. We love you. Thank you very much.
You happy birthday, Rita.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Ari. Yeah, finally. Ari, love you. Thank you, my friend. How sweet of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ari.
Thank you, guys.
And what do we all stand for?
Truth, justice, and the American way.
God bless America.
And I'm going to enjoy my birthday.
WABC New York, WRCR Haverstraw, 107.1 WLIR Hampton Bays. WABC News Time is 6:06. Your forecast tonight, mostly cloudy with a few scattered showers, the low 39. Tomorrow, morning showers and then partly cloudy with a high of 48. It's 44 degrees and cloudy outside our Midtown studios right now. I'm Lisa Ritchie. Remember, the news never stops at WABCRadio.com.
Here, our number, 877-381-3811, 877-381-3811. Well, all the so-called Epstein files, whatever that means, will be released, as I understand it. I'm sure names will be redacted, those of victims and so forth, but whatever. The House like crap through a goose, and went even faster through the Senate. So these are the weird priorities that we live with today. And despite all the leaks, all the investigations, Donald Trump has not been implicated in anything. Zero.
It's like all the talk about is tax returns for years and years, and those are leaked. There's nothing in them. Then a committee in the House on the way out the door under the Democrats, they get a copy of several years worth. They release them. Nothing in there either. And Marjorie Trader Greene, been calling her that a long time. Upsets her a lot. That's why I do it. And Thomas Messi, they were with some of the victims today. I don't know, did they have something to do with the prosecution of Epstein and the in bringing justice? I don't think so, but they're big on the release of the Epstein files. Fine by me. I'm just worried about the future of the country. Miranda Devine has an exclusive. I want to get into that about Thomas Crooks. And there's a whole lot going on. We have a couple of great guests. Governor Mike Dunleavy. They have discovered unbelievable rare earth minerals in Alaska. That can make a huge change for this country in terms of our reliance on communist China. Dr. Mark Siegel has a new book out. We'll talk to him in hour 3. We'll be ready to roll. So a lot to do. And yet I'm going to touch on something. Oh, Saudi Arabia. I feel for your 9/11 families. I really do. You've never gotten the answers you deserve. You never have. Which cut is it, Mr. Producer? Let's see, it's cut 1. It's not cut 1. It's cut 2. Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, in the Oval Office today. Reporter asked about 9/11, and 15 out of the 19 hijackers were Saudi citizens. And we know Qatar's role, one of our best friends in the Middle East now, with KSM. And now we have the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia, another of our new best friends. And we're going to sell them these technologically advanced jet fighters, F-35s. So it's only a matter of time till this incredible technology that you and I spend billions of dollars on will be obviously shared and leaked with other countries, because you can't keep a cap on that stuff forever. Not with a country that really is a new friend, should I say. Oh yeah, new friend. And he says, yeah, we'll do the Abraham Accords as long as Israel sets up a Palestinian state, and then I'll continue, which could blow it off the face of the map. That's fine. So now Saudi Arabia is dictating to Israel. But that's okay. This guy's being treated like I've never seen a world leader treated in my life. Have you ever seen any world leader treated like this, Mr. Producer? Some ceremony. We had horses. They were beautiful. F-35s flying and beautifully organized into a V, and so forth and so on. Money talks. Who was it that said it? Congressman Smith from South Philly years ago, in a great Democrat Party scandal in Washington. He said, money talks and bull, you know what, walks. And God knows the Arabs have a lot of money. Just by fate. There's a lot that's under the ground. And you know who discovered most of it? The British. All right, here is Mohammed bin Salman, the Crown Prince, about Osama bin Laden using Saudis. Of course, Osama bin Laden is from a very wealthy, prominent Saudi. What is it? Osama. What did I say? Obama. Sorry, slip of the tongue. My mouth broke. Osama bin Laden. You can hear my wife yelling at the It's Osama bin Laden, like Mr. Producer. All right, we know who it was. Cut 2, go.
I feel painful about, the families of 9/11 in America, but, we have to focus on reality. Reality, based on CIA documents, based on lots of documents, that Osama bin Laden used Saudi people at that event for one main purpose, is to destroy this relation, to destroy the American-Saudi relation. That's the purpose of 9/11. So whoever buys that, that means they are helping Osama bin Laden's purpose of destroying this relation. That strong relation between America and Saudi Arabia is bad for extremism, it's bad for terrorism. And we have to approving wrong and to build our relations, to continue developing our relations is critical. The safety of the wall is critical against extremism and terrorism. About the terrorists, it's really painful to hear, anyone that been losing his life for, no real purpose or no legal way. And it's been painful to us in Saudi Arabia. We did all the right steps of investigation, etc. in Saudi Arabia, and we've improved our system to be sure that nothing happened like that. And it's painful and it's a big mistake, and we are doing our best that this doesn't happen again.
I think in that about Khashoggi, the latter part there, where he was grabbed and murdered, cut into pieces, thrown in a vat of acid and so forth. It's so horrific. And he says, I didn't know anything about it. He didn't know anything about it. The CIA said he had to know something about it. The president today said that he didn't know anything about it. So there you have it, whether he did or not. But all that said, the 9/11 families are not happy with Saudi Arabia. This answer is bullcrap in my view. These terrorists didn't attack us to damage the relationship between the United States and Saudi Arabia. They attacked us because they were homegrown radical Islamists out of Saudi Arabia that attacks the West. That's what they did in a horrendous way. And if you had told me, it's just Mark's opinion, not criticizing, I'm just giving my opinion. If you had told me right after 9/11 that we'd be selling our most highly advanced jet fighters to the Saudis, I would say, you're smoking something. Now, there are geopolitical reasons for working with the Saudis, no question about it. They hate Qatar, hate them, because Qatar has used terrorism to try to overthrow that monarchy in the past. Qatar is our best friend too, no, Mr. Producer? Oh yeah. And they didn't get F-35s, but they got a memorandum of understanding or an executive order or something. I think an executive order that we will defend them to the last American soldier if we have to. So we're defending Qatar, and we're selling our top jets to Saudi Arabia, and I'm wondering why. Who is Qatar's military threat? Israel might say, but Israel's not. If Israel had wanted to take out Qatar, they would have done a long time ago. Who is Saudi Arabia's great threat? It's actually Qatar. Now that the Israelis took out Iran, they're not given enough credit. The bombing of the nuclear sites was crucial, absolutely crucial. And the president said he was going to take them out from hell or high water. God bless him. So important. But the Israelis defeated Iran. Just the way it is. Yes, with our equipment. The countries get our equipment, and they can't fight their way out of a paper bag. That's the truth. We sent a lot of equipment over to Afghanistan. Now the enemy has it. And unfortunately, the Afghanis were not very effective in fighting the Taliban, which represents about 14% of the country. The Israelis whipped every surrounding country and terrorist organization in a period of 2.5 years, including Iran. So it's not just the equipment, it's certainly important. It's also the nature of the warriors, their leaders. And this is one of the reasons the anti-Semites in America hate Netanyahu so much. Because he's such a tremendous leader. It's also why they hate Trump so much on the left. He's a tremendous leader. I don't necessarily agree with all this activity so quickly in terms of our F-35s, and we will fight to the end for Qatar and so forth and so on. This stuff will have to shake out over time, I suppose. Now, the Crown Prince says, look, we want to be part of the Abraham Accords, but only if the Israelis create a pathway to a two-state solution. There is no two-state solution. I want you to look at the map. I want you to look at the size of Saudi Arabia. It's massive. Massive. It's massive, like Brazil. It's massive. There it is. They won't take one Palestinian from Gaza or anywhere else. Not one. You have plenty of land to give to the Palestinians. The Palestinians have as much claim to the land, the Holy Land, as they do to Saudi Arabia's land, meaning none. Zero historical claim. Zero. Their real claim is with Jordan, but he wants nothing to do with them. The country's already over 70% Palestinian. They tried to overthrow his father, so he wants nothing to do with that. Egypt wants nothing to do with it. But listen to this. Cut 3, go.
We want to be part of the Abraham Accord, but we want also to be sure that we secure a clear path of two-state solution. And today we have a healthy discussion with Mr. President, that we can work on that to be sure that we can prepare to the right situation.
So he's going to work on the president on that? Is that what he's saying, Mr. News? He says, we're going to work with the president on that, and he upped his investment in the United States from $600 billion to $1 trillion. And what did the president say? Cut 3, go.
I think I don't want to use the word commitment, but we've had a very good talk on the Abraham Accords. We talked about one state, two state. We talked about a lot of things in a short period of time. We'll be discussing it further, too. But I think you have a very good feeling for the Abraham Accords.
Mr. President, we want peace for the Israelis, we want peace for the Palestinians, we want them to coexist peacefully.
We're not going to have peace for the Palestinians because the Palestinians are killing each other. Don't you get it? He gets it. I thought the president's answer there was pretty good, actually. I did. And I don't want to spend all night on this because we have a lot to do. We'll be right back.
Mark Levin on 77 WABC.
Friends, you're making your list and checking it twice. But have you thought about the one thing that gets you to the family gatherings and holiday parties? Your car. The older a vehicle gets, the more prone it is to expensive repairs. The surprise bill for thousands is the last thing you need. It's time for a little peace of mind. That's why I always tell you about CarShield. They offer affordable month-to-month vehicle protection plans that guard your budget against the high cost of auto repairs. It's a sensible gift to yourself. Plans include 24/7 roadside assistance anywhere in the country, towing, rental car benefits. Don't wait for a breakdown to ruin the most wonderful time of the year. Protect yourself now like Mr. Producer did. Get a free quote and 20% off at carshield.com/Levin, carshield.com/LEVIN. That's carshield.com/LEVIN. Or call 800-995-4766. That's 800-995-4766. That's carshield.com/Levin.
Donate this holiday season. Join 77 WABC, AARP, New York City,
Gristedes and D'Agostino Supermarket, nationwide imaging services,
and the Police Athletic League as we deliver turkeys to more than 5,000 families in need. Donate now.
Go to WABCFoundationCares.com.
For just $50, you can feed a family in need.
That's WABCFoundationCares.com.
This Saturday at 10:30 a.m., the 77 WABC Thanksgiving trolley rolls out at the Police Athletic League Harlem Center, giving back to those in need. 77 WABC cares. When you get hurt, you don't want to end up on the injured list. You want to get back in the game stronger than ever. At Morgan & Morgan, we're the home run hitters you need. Morgan & Morgan, proud sponsor of the New York Yankees. Injured? Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you. Now, the latest from the 77 WABC newsroom. Mid-afternoon host Greg Kelly is not a big fan of the National Football League, but he found himself watching a game recently, and really, he took exception to one of the touchdown celebrations being done by a member of the LA Chargers. It's ridiculous. It's the most foul thing ever. What was wrong with you? But by the way, it's September, right? You scored a touchdown. My understanding is you're a wide receiver. That's your day job, right? That's what you're supposed to do.
He acted like he won the Super Bowl and the World Series and the Ryder Cup all in one day by that one play.
Greg wondering what happened to sportsmanship.
Very unprofessional. You know, there was a time, do you remember that they got mad at the players for spiking the ball? I remember that. They get in the end zone and they throw the ball down really hard. That was considered a spike, and somehow that was considered unsportsmanlike. But whatever this guy was doing, it was definitely unsportsmanlike. It was profane and depraved.
Greg also aiming some of his ire at the NFL's commissioner, Roger Goodell. As Greg noted, his big salary.
This guy makes $40 million a year, which is essentially more than any player, and he never gets hit.
And given the violent nature of the National Football League, Greg doesn't see that as very fair.
I was watching that, 10 minutes of that game yesterday. Some of those hits would kill most Americans. They would just kill you on the spot. Most people can't tolerate a hit like that. And these guys just get up to play again. It's crazy. It really is crazy. But they're gonna profit no matter what.
Listen to the Greg Kelly Show every weekday from 12:15 to 3 p.m. or download it as a podcast on the 77 WABC app. In the 77 WABC newsroom, I'm James Fulton.
You know, folks, Americans rely on credit cards for secure payments and seamless transactions. But consumers stand to lose it all with the Urban Marshall credit card mandate bill. Big government mandates favor corporate mega stores and allow them to choose how your credit card is processed. They might end up using untested payment networks that could jeopardize your data security and rewards. Tell Congress to guard your card, because Americans lose when politicians choose. Visit guardyourcard.com to learn more. That's guardyourcard.com, paid for by the Electronic Payments Coalition.
My name is Whitney Allen. I am a widow. My husband Ryan died. We never thought in a million years we'd have to use life insurance. The unexpected happened. With Ethos, it is so fast and easy. It's 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage, no medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage through Ethos.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/term. That's ethos.com/term.
Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
For radio sensation that's sweeping the nation.
Spicy as that look. Please welcome
Mark Levin.
Sure about Thomas Crooks in the great New York Post. We're all owed a better explanation from the FBI and Secret Service about the attempted assassination of Donald Trump 16 months ago at a campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania. The president himself remains unsatisfied with the answers he's been given about the circumstances leading to 20-year-old Thomas Crooks climbing on a rooftop with an AR-15 style rifle and firing 8 times, narrowly missing his head but hitting his ear. You say, okay, what's going on? There's something very wrong with the official story, she says, that invites conspiracy theories. Well, we've heard that. The president demanded an answer months ago as a man was murdered. What's going on? Then FBI Director Chris Wray, I've told you here for years when he was FBI Director, this is a bad dude. He's got a bad attitude. Told Congress after the July 13, 2024 attack, the Bureau had found nothing in Crook's online history that pointed to a motive of political ideology. A week later, Ray's deputy, Paul Abbott, told Congress that comments posted on one of Crook's social media accounts, quote, appear to reflect anti-Semitic and anti-immigration themes to espouse political violence. They're described as extreme in nature. Now, thanks to an enterprising source who uncovered Crook's hidden digital footprint, we can see that Abbott misled Congress by omission, because he left out an entire section of Crook's online interactions from January to August 2020, when he did an ideological backflip and went from Trump to rapidly anti-Trump and then went dark, never seeming to post again. Among the 17 accounts uncovered by our source were ones of YouTube, Snapchat, Venmo, Zelly, GroupMe, Discord, Google Play, Quizlet, Chess.com, and Quora. The online interactions from when Crooks was age 15 to 17 give us a better understanding of his evolution into an assassin and invite more questions about what or who reversed his ideology, which is crucial to know. The danger crooks pose was visible for years in public online spaces, says the source. His radicalization, violent rhetoric, and obsession with political violence were all documented under his real name. The threat was not hidden. Now, we'll get back to this, but, you know, if this is the way it goes, I mean, the FBI should read the comments on my sites, don't you think, Mr. Producer? I mean, there'd be a lot of people to round up, trust me on this. But that said,
Oh boy.
this is a very, very crucial story, and I don't want to... we have to take a break. I don't want to take a break, but it's a hard break.
So I did this picture today. And I didn't quite finish it. We're going to finish in the next episode.
You know, in all the time I've been
See this picture?
my wireless company, I can honestly say I've never seen an offer like this from them. Unlimited talk, unlimited text, unlimited data with a 30-gig hotspot, just $29.95 a month for life. Friends, this is Pure Talk's top-tier plan, normally $65 a month. Now through December 7th, just $29.95 a month. You're saving over 50% a month every month for life. Dial pound 250, say Mark Levin.
This one I did a little while back. This is Fruitcake Spider-Man.
Keep your number, but start saving with unlimited for life for just $29.95 a month. Again, dial pound 250, say Mark Levin, switch to my wireless company, Pure Talk. Taxes and fees not included. Some restrictions apply. See puretalk.com for details. Offer ends December 7th, 2025.
Yeah, this one is more than halfway done. We just got to finish the outfits on them. On the triplets, we got to finish the outfits.
East on the BQE at Hamilton Avenue, there's an accident. Eastbound Grand Central Parkway at the Q interchange, watch for a crash. And on Long Island, eastbound LIE jammed up between exits 35 and 36. There's a bad accident. In New Jersey, west on 80 at exit 64, a wreck in the local lanes. And there's delays on the N trains due to a person that was struck by a train. That's 77 WABC Traffic and Transit. I'm Lisa Ritchie. D'Agostino and Associates is a legacy. I'm proud to be a part of that legacy. I'm Jenna D'Agostino, and like my father, I fight to get justice for the injured. Call our team first at 1-800-FIGHT-BACK. That's 1.
The Hess stock car races are loaded with lights, sounds, and a powerful racing gear. Only HessToyTruck.com. Free shipping and batteries included.
Giving Tuesday is a global effort that encourages people to do good. This year, please support Shriners Children. Because when you do, you're not just giving to a hospital. You're helping change the life of a kid like me. Please call 1-800-276-8007 or go to loveshriners.org. Thanks to a generous donor, your gift will have 3 times the impact in the lives of kids like me. The amazing work the doctors and nurses do is only possible because of people like you. Without your donations, there'd just be so many kids that aren't able to walk, run, ride bikes, and live their dreams. Please call 1-800-276-8007 or go to loveshriners.org. That's loveshriners.org. Thanks to a generous donor, every dollar you give for Giving Tuesday will have 3 times the impact to help more kids. Thank you.
It's Ocean Drive in Coney Island.
Ocean Drive is the only luxury residence in New York with a spectacular ocean view. You wake up in the morning and breathe that ocean air. I'm certified that you're going to live 10 years longer. When I became successful, I wanted to live on the ocean.